Welcome to Minecraft RL Craft Dragora, where survival is not for the weak. You not only have to fight hunger, thirst, and monsters, but you must also face the vast and chaotic world of Dragora, where dragons soar, the climate is incredibly harsh, and everything wants to kill you. Will I be able to survive? Currently, I entered the game. On the first day, I spawned in the middle of a circle divided into 8 directions like a compass. With my innate sense of directionlessness, I just randomly picked a direction and started walking. I kept walking but only saw black gravel everywhere. The scenery was dry as a bone, the trees were extinct, and all I could see was a gloomy black color. After trudging for half a day and seeing nothing but dirt and rocks, I finally remembered that my first task was to dig gravel. Because only by digging gravel can you get flint, and with flint, you can start surviving RL Craft style. Right where I was mining gravel, there happened to be a village, so I conveniently stopped by to check on the villagers' well-being, not to rob them or anything. I'm a kind person after all. After that, I started my lumberjack career by breaking leaves to get 2 sticks. 2 sticks are enough, 3 sticks make you thirsty. With a stick and a piece of flint, I can make a knife. Swinging the knife around the grass gives you plant fibers. Braid them together to make string, and from string, sticks, and flint, I crafted my very first axe. It sounds a bit complicated compared to vanilla, but it really is complicated. After chopping wood, I have to strip the bark to get wooden planks. Complicated enough yet? And just like that, I've entered the wooden age. To show you the process of advancing to the wooden age, instead of just raiding a village, I did it manually. With wooden tools, I mined stone, but soon felt exhausted and my vision blurred due to the hunger and thirst bars. If either bar runs out, your vision goes blurry. Starving until your vision blurs is real. So I headed into the village. In the village, you can steal just about anything, including food and drinks. So I was full again right away. Especially in this village, there's a blacksmith's house, and inside it's packed with everything from iron, gold to diamonds. Nothing is missing. Right there's also some kind of abandoned structure. I thought there might be monsters inside, so I went back to the village to keep looting. But this village is insanely rich. There's iron stuff everywhere you look. I kept looting until morning before I dared to poke my head in to see what was inside. Turns out, after breaking 2 pistons, there was nothing inside except a few lamps. When I went upstairs, I found a free nether portal and enough space to set up a house for myself. While I was cleaning up, I suddenly turned into a blaze. Turns out it came out from the nether portal. It almost killed me when it attacked. If either your head or body runs out of health, no matter how many hearts you have left, you'll still die. And to heal, you need healing items. You can't just eat until you're full and automatically recover like in vanilla. Eating your fill doesn't work, but sleeping well does. Just one good sleep and you recover about 95% of your health. To move on to the next stage, I need to level up. And what could be easier than mining coal? Because at this point, if I fight monsters, they'll beat me so badly my own parents wouldn't recognize me. Besides the hunger and thirst bars, I also have a temperature bar. If it gets too hot, I'll just drop dead too. So if it gets hot, you have to find a cool, airy place to breathe. You use experience points to upgrade different skill branches. There are a total of 8 branches, each representing a different profession. To make leveling up easier, I upgraded my attack power and also got a new weapon, a stone saber. First, I have to make a handle using a string and a stick, then combine it with 3 stones to create a saber. It attacks quickly, but the damage is like scratching an itch. To protect my head and body, I made a shield. First, it's a wooden shield, then I upgrade it to a stone shield. Once I have weapons, I can finally grab my basket and go exploring. After taking just 3 steps, I saw a bright green dragon and immediately grabbed my basket to back away. When I ran the other way, I also came across a mermaid nest. It's basically an ant nest, but with my current strength going down there, I'll get beaten beyond recognition. That's why I said to move on to the next era, I have to level up. For example, if you want to mine iron, your mining skill has to be level 4. While I was mining, there was also a mother dragon, so I went back to craft an ice armor set to avoid the heat. Because this area is a savanna, the heat is just unbearable. As for ice shards, I just dug some up from the frozen lake. Wearing them feels as cool as Kotex Thin, plus you get 2 extra armor pieces. Also, after mining a bunch of coal, I managed to raise my attack to 8. That means now I can use iron weapons. The higher your level, the better gear you can use. At level 16, I'll be able to use diamond gear. Because the fastest way to level up is to go out and fight. And with my warrior blood, I don't sleep. I traveled straight through until the night of the third day, and then I found a village in a place that looked a bit more open and cooler. So I decided to crash there for a night and then check things out. This village is on a plain, so the temperature is pretty cool. When I went in, of course I didn't forget to do my usual two-finger move, stealing their stuff. Besides that, I also had to activate the waystone to make traveling easier later on, and every village has a waystone, you know. There wasn't a blacksmith's house here, but there was a librarian's house, and inside there was definitely a good book, and it turned out to be a mending book. I found the geography here more suitable, and there weren't dragons blocking every direction, so I decided this would be my home. Since there's a waystone, I just needed to teleport back to the old village to grab the important stuff. Of course, I didn't forget to stop by the blacksmith's house to loot everything, but I ran out of space to take the armor set, so I'll come back for it later. After storing my stuff, I crafted a canteen from leather so I wouldn't have to drink river or stream water anymore. But to filter clean water, I had to combine paper with charcoal. It has to be charcoal, only then can you craft a water filter. The canteen can hold 3 sips of water, and combined with the filter paper, I now have clean water to drink. While slightly behind the kangaroo filter, it's still great. You feel refreshed in just one sip. I broke down some iron to craft a lockpick because I had found a locked chest in the old village, and it was a diamond chest with a 9-bomb lock. The challenge here is that you have to insert the lockpick into the right spot and in the correct order. I broke 8 iron lockpicks before moving on to the gold lockpick. And finally, I managed to open the last one. When I opened it, wow, a snow anvil, a compass, and 2 maps. But the book just had some random coordinates. Basically, it was even more disappointing than the word disappointing itself. Let's leave those coordinates for later. They're 14,000 blocks away from my house. If I go, I'll probably break my legs. Since I happened to be back at the old village, I took the opportunity to steal some armor too. My attack has reached level 8, so I crafted an iron saber. Who even uses stone gear anymore these days? And so I set out to find a place to fight monsters. I spotted a battle tower, so I hurried over there. It was already nighttime, which was dangerous. What if I ran into some creep? So I made a sleeping bag and took a nap, planning to farm safely in the morning. The weather here is insanely hot, and I even drank some dirty water by mistake, which gave me brain parasites. I ended up hurting myself before even fighting anything. So I went back, put on my ice armor, and returned to fight so things would be cooler for me. The first floor had 2 spawners, one for spiders and one for skeletons. I tried to block them off so they couldn't swarm me, but I forgot and left a huge hole. The skeletons shot like amboss, aiming straight for my head every time. Right now, I can't use any advanced healing items, so I can only use Bob's medical bandage to temporarily heal. Besides the regular zombies, there are also some of the LGBT type. Each of these LGBT ones has its own special effect, like this one explodes. And if you kill an LGBT, you'll get an enchanted weapon, but it's only bronze or lower. To keep my head safe, I blocked off 2 blocks and just left an opening at the feet to poke at them. But the zombies kept jumping down from above over and over again. After farming for a bit, I managed to raise my defense to 8. There weren't many items left, but then a Super Saiyan zombie showed up. Killing this one gives a ton of experience, so I couldn't bring myself to leave. But when I hit it, the effect is that it reflects damage and sets me on fire. That's just ridiculous. So I broke the spider spawner to reduce the number of spiders and healed up a bit, otherwise the reflected damage would kill me. Out of nowhere, an LGBT spider appeared and knocked me up into the air. After killing it, another one rushed at me, but because of the terrain, I kept hitting trees and grass instead of actually hitting it. That was definitely the game's fault, not mine. I went back to grab my stuff and then took a nap. The first floor is cleared, but unfortunately I still couldn't take down the Super Saiyan guy. The second floor is the zombie floor, so I just need to leave 1 block open to farm them. It's simple. The third floor is skeletons, same thing. But sometimes they shoot me in the head, so I have to use my shield to block. For those LGBT mobs that reflect damage or cause debuffs, I can use a bow to shoot them. Killing this one got me a spectral set, which is used for crafting gear later. It's really essential. After clearing the 4th floor, all the loot I got was just silver gear. Looking up at the 5th floor, I saw it was full of spiders, so I packed up and went home. Back home, I sorted out my stuff after a pretty chaotic farming trip. I crafted myself a new bow, an iron bow, and a new iron saber. Also, my defense was high enough to use an iron shield instead of a stone one. I leveled up my magic to 8 so I could upgrade to better healing gear. Then I used the waystone to teleport back to the old village. You guys probably already know what I'm planning to do. I decided to head over to the mermaid's nest to stir up some trouble. First, I had to take care of the workers there. These little guys are pretty weak. The hierarchy of the mermaids is just like a regular ant colony. There are workers, then sentinels or guards. This guy, the bigger he is, the more aggressive he gets. When I went down to check him out, he stung me once and the poison hit harder than getting shocked in Cambodia. Just one hit and my whole body turned bright red. This was when my bow finally got to shine, but honestly the damage wasn't much. Below, there were 2 more sentinels, but I was already out of arrows. I turned around, planning to head back. Suddenly I heard a noise, so I turned back. A warrior was already there. It stung me once and I felt dizzy. The shock was even crazier than popping and locking. Of course, I was done for. When I came back, there was a royal one, a noble. It blocked the entrance to the nest right away. This one could fly, so I had to block it with rocks and then stab it. Who would have thought the soldier was already behind me and jabbed me right in my spider hole? I fell down, thinking the spider queen wouldn't come out anymore. But luckily, I managed to crawl into a corner where it couldn't reach me. Praying to heaven and Buddha, I somehow made it through this ordeal. So I let that royal demon go first. The warrior up above didn't have a way down yet, so I felt at ease. I'm not saying I'm going to die anymore. To deal with these guys, I had to build a platform and use slabs to block off half a block for cover, because they can squeeze through a full block, you know. Then I just kept smacking it on the head. So it immediately got confused by me. To get a longer attack range, I made an iron spear. Its reach is twice as long as the saber, so I can poke them from afar. Since I was close to the center of the nest, there were tons of them, but I had already blocked all the paths. I just left a single hole for Mai to poke them through. At the end of the nest, there was a queen. But even this queen had to give in to my method, and I also noticed that the iron spear deals much more damage to a crowd of them than the saber does. But the downside is, you can't use a shield at the same time as the spear. So I managed to clear out these damn mermaids. I farmed these guys because of their traps. I thought that taking down the queen would be the end, but no, the path split all over the place. There was still a whole swarm left. Alright, 3 or 4 of them is enough. Time to get out of here. With 16 levels after farming, I put everything into defense. There's also a selection board with 3 more branches to earn extra experience. Of course, I chose combat. I'm a warrior after all. Inside here, there are a lot of different skills, but upgrading them costs a lot of experience, so I'll leave that for later. My defense is up to 8 now, so I can wear iron armor. Since I have silver boots with buffs, I swapped out my iron boots for them. I continued exploring, came to a village, and gathered all the necessary items. Right next to the village, there was another battle tower. But that's not all, because nearby there was yet another village. I went back to my pickpocketing ways, but it was so hot here that I was sweating like crazy, feeling all sticky and uncomfortable, so I decided to head back home. It wasn't until night that I made my way to the tower to farm, since more mobs spawn at night. The first floor had zombies and skeletons, so I blocked them all off before I started hitting them. I also made a silver spear so I could attack from a distance and deal more damage. So farming zombies and skeletons was super efficient. After farming the first floor until morning, a huge ogre suddenly showed up looking for trouble. Every time I hit it, I only did 1 point of damage, while it kept circling around my head. And this brute only aimed for my head when it attacked, so I ran into the blacksmith's house to hide and waited for it to wander off somewhere else. The second floor was the Spider-Man floor, so I broke the spawn cage. Breaking it gave me a lot of experience too. After killing a spider, it dropped B-Zone, an anti-poison item that I really needed. I'm definitely most fond of farming zombies. Peaceful, calm, and joyful. After farming, I raised my defense to 12 and went home to prepare a new set of armor. That is the mermaid armor. This set is just a bit weaker than diamond. And then, after sunrise, I saw a Super Saiyan. After healing up, I grabbed my bow and shot at him, but I still got hit with reflected damage, which was wild. After taking him down, I jumped from level 7 straight to level 26. I have to say that's an insane amount of experience. With those 26 levels, I put my agility up to 12. Then I went back to the tower to keep farming. Now, when it comes to spider and skeleton spawners, I just prioritize breaking them quickly. Only zombies can actually make me happy. But at night, the zombie spawner kicks in, spawning so many that one attack scatters the crowd. They even outnumber people at a shouting match. I farmed so hard that even my spear was about to break and I still wasn't done. Heading down to the next floor, another spawner was there. It felt so good, I was grinning from ear to ear. After I finished farming, I finally started looting, but it was just junk. so I had to jump off the floor to get back faster. But who am I kidding about going back? I kept farming. My defense was 16, attack was 15 already, so I had to push a bit more. Cows have to moo in the morning and people have to persevere to live. Since the upper floors were full of zombies, it was pretty chill. When I got to the second to last floor, I found the best item so far. An insulated jacket, keeps out both heat and cold. Man, it was awesome. After clearing the second to last floor, I opened the chest and bam! I thought it would be Blackpink, but who would have guessed Ingolam was on this floor? So I grabbed my stuff and headed straight home. Once I got home and put everything away, I raised my attack to 16. That meant I could finally use diamond gear. It was time to swap out my mermaid armor for the free diamond armor set. As for the diamond dog and horse armor, I smelted them down to get the diamonds back. Back at that battle tower earlier, I also picked up a belt, but its effect was so lame that wearing it just made me feel dirty. After smelting all the diamond gear, I moved on to smelting the iron items. Now that I had diamonds, I crafted a diamond crossbow. Of course, it takes longer to shoot than a bow, but its arrows fly straighter and farther than a bow's. What for, you ask? Obviously to go dragon hunting. The crossbow shoots a different type of arrow called a bolt. It's a bit harder to craft than regular arrows, but it uses up a lot of feathers. Near the first village, there was a dragon, but it must have died here years ago. Now it's just a dried up skeleton. I picked up its bones and head, then continued on my way. I went back to look for the green dragon from the beginning. I found a place to settle down until morning. While wandering, I felt something strange. Suddenly, I twitched and collapsed, foaming at the mouth. It was due to my ender crown. I didn't even get to shoot before a spit glob hit me with a bang, and my head shattered instantly. So I built a bunker to hide in. Just like that, I kept shooting at it from outside. Whenever it spat at me, I'd duck into the bunker, out of its line of sight. That's all there is to it. When I shot, I hit about 8 times and missed twice. After all, I'm a Call of Duty marksman. I kept shooting until the morning of the 18th day, and it still hadn't gone down. When I peeked out, it spat right at me. Damn, it was camping, waiting for me. Smarter than the ChatGPT that made this video. When I went back to get my stuff, it was sleeping right there, keeping watch. Smart as hell. After I finally got my belongings back and waited until sunset, the last one finally went down. I collected its blood with a flask to use as a weapon later, then skinned the creature and took its skull. And that's the first dragon done. Back home with the dragon's head, dragon blood, and an iron canteen, I managed to craft a dragon canteen. I also made more bolts to hunt more dragons. With the dragon canteen, I no longer need to filter water. Regardless of how dirty, it's clean. I went back to the red dragon I had tamed earlier and saw it sleeping in its nest. And this is the first lesson to becoming the greatest dragon hunter. You shouldn't bother a dragon while it's sleeping. Even people get grumpy when woken up, let alone a dragon. When it flies up into the sky, that's when I shoot it. Shooting a dragon is easy, just like shooting a bird. But hitting it is what counts. I kept shooting until the 19th evening when it returned here to sleep. Learning from experience, I stood behind cover, shot, then ran back to the cave to hide again. But curiosity ended up getting me killed once again. It's true that what kills us is our own curiosity. By the evening of the 19th day, I had shot it with more than 70 arrows, but it still hadn't fallen. Meanwhile, the first green dragon I shot only took 27 arrows. When I ran out of bones, I grabbed my bow and kept shooting, but it still wouldn't die. On the 21st day, after going out to hunt chickens and coming back with a few more bones, it still wasn't dead. By then, I had shot it with more than 90 bones. You better remember that dog face of yours, you jerk. After causing some damage to the KFC owner's place, I came back and saw it only had 1 health left. Just 1 more arrow and it would be done. And do you know what? I shot it a total of 97 different arrows and its health was actually 605, which is actually even more than a stage 5 dragon. But the special thing is, this dragon was only stage 3. What the fuck? Honestly, I was basically playing around with a stage 5 dragon just now. After harvesting it, I looted the nest, but it only had iron stuff and some cockroach legs with chains on their butts. Nothing special. Then I went back to hunting chickens, closing the local KFC, fighting for vegetarian justice. I also managed to spawn 2 battle towers to farm levels. When I got there, right next to one of the towers was a pyramid and underneath it was full of zombies. To farm, I crafted another silver spear since the old one was about to break. Made some more dead bandages and wrapped them up. At night, I came back to farm. For the undead, I used the silver spear to farm them. It was great. Just one stab, and they're done. By morning, there was a skeleton in full gold armor who looked like he was about to evolve into Super Saiyan 2. With nowhere left to run, I jumped in and fought it head on. Luckily, it didn't shoot an arrow into my head. Now, regular skeletons go down with just one hit. I feel like I've gotten stronger. But the problem is, it's summer here. That's right. In RL Craft, there are even 4 seasons: spring, summer, autumn, and winter. Here it's both savanna and summer, so it's hot and I'm sweating like crazy. While farming, I have to carry a bucket of water to pour over my head to avoid the heat. Of course, I farm zombies the most. The more that spawn, the better. After farming for a bit, I got my level up to 39. I put all my points into defense up to 23, just one more level to go. Luckily, I ran into a Super Saiyan zombie, which was just enough to get my defense up to 24. I went ahead to kill this zombie because it gives more experience. I broke 2 spears fighting, to the point where I ran out of weapons and had to use a crossbow and arrows to shoot each zombie. What a hassle. The chest in this tower is better than the one in the previous tower, and there are also diamond items for me to take back and smelt. After clearing everything, I carefully made my way up to the top floor, and of course there was still a golem. I tried to grab the chest and run, but the game didn't save. Just touching it, and it was smashed to pieces in an instant, so I had to run away again. Back home, I took a nap to move on to day 29. From the heart fragments of those LGBT and Saiyan mobs, I combined them to craft a heart container, and using it gives me 1 more heart. I smelted all the silver and iron gear since I don't use them anymore. After that, I crafted a reforestation item and finally made a set of armor from dragon scales. You could say this is one of the strongest armor sets in the game. Swapping out the diamond armor for this, I have to say it looks amazing. Now I really look like a dragon hunter, don't I? When Eunuch looted the tower, I picked up some lottery ticket bags, and after forging them onto Eunuch, I got extra inventory slots. Since its secondary stats were pretty bad, I had to put it into reforestation to reforge it. I chose the athlete perk to increase speed by 5% and jump half a block higher. Equipping Eunuch lets me store items with a maximum of 4 slots. Taking things in and out is more convenient, and it lightens my load too. Next is the Diamond Saber to replace the Iron one because the Iron breaks after a bit of use, while Diamond is much more durable. Can't forget the Diamond Shield to protect myself and my head. Whether it's the lower head or the upper head, both are important. Fully equipped, I continued hunting red dragons to bring back and reforge my gear. This dragon flies pretty far, and when I'm near it, there's nowhere for me to dig a tunnel. I shot a few arrows at it until nightfall, then it went to sleep. Getting closer to check its health, this one still has over 600 HP left. Learning from the first lesson, I kept my distance to chip away at it and then ran back to the bunker so it was safe. When it flies up, just stand there and shoot it like a bird. Simple, right? But I got cocky. Even when it got close, I still got greedy. So it landed right there to keep an eye on me. It's like it wanted to say, "You're such a dirty little cheater," or something like that. I hid and waited until nightfall so it would go to sleep. But if it sleeps far away from my bunker, then forget it. Sneaking closer, I could see it was about to leave. I drew my bow, shot it once, then ran down to the nearest riverbank. But here's the second lesson. Don't hunt dragons in the riverbed. If you do, remember to bring water-breathing potions and doors. Otherwise, if you surface for air, you'll get wrecked instantly. And I was so pissed off. But when morning came, I took a few shots. My accuracy was literally 100%, and that was the end of it. It died right in its own nest, which was wild. I ran over to grab its scales, ended up with 36 scales in total because I already had 3 from before. That's right, 36. Came home with 39 dragon scales and reforged my gear. Of course, I aimed for the best gear, masterful, with an extra 0.5 luck, 1 armor toughness, and 2 armor. That's the best you can get. Same goes for the chest plate. As for the boots, I almost used up all my scales reforging them and still got nothing, so I decided to go with Thorn. The shorts were the same story. Just grab whatever gives a benefit first, I'll reforge for Masterful later. After wandering around, I found another tower, so I headed over there. And there was another village right there as well. The 3 battle towers I visited were right next to 3 villages. That's strange. This village has a library, so I had to go in and loot a bit. These ancient tome books are really cool. But I'll show them to you guys later. Like I said, the tower is next to this village, not the other one. And off in the distance, there was some kind of house, super tall and creepy. When I got there, it looked like an abandoned city, but I had no idea what was inside, and with my current gear, if I went in, those strong monsters would smash me to pieces. So I went back to the village with the battle tower. Once I got back, I started farming right away. Right now, leveling up is more important than ever. While I was farming zombies, suddenly the Dream Thief showed up. Unlike those LGBT guys, this one is yellow. After killing it, it drops an enchantment book. Once I finished clearing up, I started looting. The very first floor was locked. I thought they were hiding some good stuff, but when I opened it, I was totally shocked. To farm peacefully without sweating like crazy, I soaked myself in water, blocked it off with slabs, and just swung away. It takes a bit more time, but at least it's absolutely safe. My goal now is to get my attack up to level 24. Of course, I reset my level before killing the Super Saiyan, because killing it will get me up to 25 or 26 levels if I start from 0. After a while, I reached level 36, 36 and came across that locked chest again. To keep going with 2 fingers, no, it fits into a double slot, but if you put it in the wrong hole, it'll shock you so hard you'll jump out of your skin. If you don't pay attention and it keeps shocking you, you'll just drop dead. So heal up and then keep burning it. Since it's just a silver chest, it's actually pretty simple. Inside, there are only some miners that increase digging speed, nothing really valuable. The top floor still has that same villain. I tried to open it and run away, but it still didn't work. It's really strange. I've raised attack to 24, magic to 12, and put the rest into agility. I also formed a team to increase my health. To get revenge on that tower, I went back again. But this time, I went straight to the top to loot. Before I could do anything, it blew up the whole chest with a bang. So I just went out to pick up the loot. You could say the mission failed, but it was also kind of a success. I looted quite a bit, but there was nothing really good. On my way home, I saw a Saiyan creeper. To deal with this guy, I have to stack blocks to get higher, because if I poke him and he runs to the generator and explodes, I'll lose all my experience. Once I got all my stuff back, I made another team to increase my health. On day 39, I continued wandering around exploring. While I was walking, I saw some glow coke. When I went inside, it went straight down into the ground. It looked so creepy that I just ran away instead of bothering with it. To make traveling easier, I got myself a horse, kind of dark-skinned. So I galloped like a horse way faster than before. After traveling for a while, I ended up in a snow village instead of a desert village. Of course, since there was a village, I had to go in and loot some books. The librarian here sells advanced net books, but the price is like supreme. The books here are actually pretty good overall. What I need to find now is a tower so I can loot the top floor and get some items. After traveling for a while, by day 42, I finally spotted one in the Badlands. I tried using some tips and tricks, but before I could do anything, it had already woken up. Error, 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 error. There was also a village nearby. What I didn't expect was that there was an enchanting table inside the church. Since I needed one at home, I just took it right away. After storing all the books at home, I continued on my journey because I had already spawned a village right there, and there was another tower as well. While I was swimming over, a big-breasted girl tried to lure me in. But I prefer men, so I just kept smacking her instead. This time I did it properly. When I placed a block up high, some annoying mob exploded like crazy. So I fell down. When I placed it back, the chest blew up to pieces. Damn it, stupid dog. I rushed back, looted quickly, then ran away. But there was still a lot of good loot I hadn't grabbed yet. So I went out for the third time. By the time I went up at night, all my stuff was gone. Damn it. Frustrated, I went home to sleep off the cold. Alone, I set out on the road again. As I was going, things started to look familiar, and then, boom, both me and my horse got roasted. I carefully snuck back to get my stuff, but this dragon must have a dog's nose or something. Its sense of smell is insane. Wherever I tried to loot, it would breathe fire right there. There was no way to get my stuff back. But it made the biggest mistake of its life. I went home and grabbed my infinity book. That's right. Then I made a crossbow, enchanted it with infinity, and that was the end for the dragon. With my accuracy when shooting a crossbow, it didn't stand a chance. Just a few shots and it was done. And my stuff was still there. After moving on, I reached another tower. I climbed up to cheese this tower. This time I was careful, super careful, blinded and messed up again. Get out of here. You need 2 blocks to be able to open the chest. To pull off this trick, you need a trident because the trident has a long reach, which also applies to opening chests from a distance. But boom, damn it, the chest is locked. What the heck? I was back to the primitive era. I had to mine flint, use flint to make an axe, use the axe to chop wood, make a crafting table, and only then could I craft a lockpick to open it. But to open it, I had to make it go somewhere else first. Of course, I came up with another trick, which is the position swapping arrow.